Welcome. We're here at Studio Bar Sessions at HowMuch Studios in Austin, Texas. I'm the Witching Hours, and I'm here today with Inling. Hey, Silje.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
All the way from Norway.
Yeah, that's right.
It's incredible. Thank you for coming all the way across the ocean to come play at South by. And our unofficial showcase is tomorrow here in HowMuch Studios.
Yeah.
How have you been enjoying playing here?
It's been so good. I find that the crowds here in the US are a bit different than the ones back in Norway. Like a bit more approachable and friendly in a way. I think it's because we're quite introverted in Norway. So we're kind of like afraid to make noise and everyone is standing quite quiet at gigs. But here it's like people are super friendly and seem so interested. So it's been really good.
That's good. Yeah, definitely Americans can get rambunctious and maybe a little drunk as well. But yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition to make. How do you feel like when you're writing? Do you write music that's introverted as well, or do you write music that feels extroverted to you? Like, how do you treat the music writing process?
Making music for me is quite an introverted experience. It's something that I do, alone and by myself. So yeah, which makes it always a bit scary to perform it as well. But it's getting better day by day, I feel.
Do you feel like performing is not... are you scared of performing?
I used to be, but now I just find it to be so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's always so weird to kind of like have these personal songs and things that you make, in your bedroom or in quite like a personal way, and then to get to sing them to people and people actually caring has been so nice and such a surprise to me, to be fair. So honestly, it's just been great. But it's kind of like, exposure therapy. It used to be super scary and now it's just super fun.
Right, yeah. Exposure for sure will get you through anything.
Exactly.
When you write, it's a very personal thing for you. It's a personal practice. Where do you write from? Is it like an escape? Is it therapy? Is it a place?
Oh wow, it's almost like I'm having a conversation with myself. I think, which I think is probably quite common for many songwriters. So it's like I've had a thought or maybe like an idea in my head for a while, and then it just comes out as a song.
An idea like a feeling or a phrase, or how do you manifest that into a song?
It could be like a feeling or like almost like atmosphere or something. Maybe something that's happened in my life, and the only way I can put it into words is by making music to it, which has always been very helpful for me, I think.
Do you write from the lyrics first or from the music first, and what's like the primary instrument you write with?
Oh, I do it both at the same time, actually. Yeah, both. So I make the melody while singing, and then the lyrics kind of just come. Yeah, and then sometimes I tweak them afterwards, obviously. Sometimes I would write like a whole song just on the guitar. And sometimes, more often now actually, I'll find like an idea on the guitar and I will just record that and start to make a demo. So I'd add synths and find a drum patch or whatever, and it just kind of like flows from there.
Oh, so you start building it just from the very small idea instead of having the idea and then making something bigger from there.
Yeah. So I have some songs where I like finish everything on the guitar and it's like more of a classical singer-songwriter song.
Right.
And then I have some songs that are more like, I just have this atmosphere that I want to get out. And then I would make the demo as I kind of write the song,
Like world building.
Exactly, yeah.
That's really cool. Do you feel like you've gotten more comfortable with like producing through that process as well? Like getting sounds in and textures and stuff like that? Yeah,
because I used to think that producing was this big scary thing that you had a song and then you had to find a producer and he had to and then he or she had to like make it into like a proper song, And just as I started to make my own demos, I kind of realized that for me at least producing is as much songwriting as it is producing, So it's just, and that made me less scared to just kind of try ideas because it's just to try, and if it sounds nice then it sounds nice, and I try to just trust that in a way.
Yeah, so you're kind of in the school of like, I'm just gonna just put it down and see what comes out.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for people who are afraid to get into the recording process? There's so many people I know who are kind of stuck in the like, I've written so many songs, but there's no way I'll ever record them because it's terrifying. Do you have any advice for those people?
I mean, I totally understand that. I think my advice would be to start to just do it for yourself and think that no one else needs to hear it. You can just record, because now we're so lucky, it's so accessible, you know. Most people have, even if you just have a smartphone, you can still use it to record.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think just starting to record and make something just for yourself is because once you get used to, for example, hearing your vocals recorded and stuff like that, it stops getting scary so quickly. I used to be so scared about it, and now it's like I don't mind.
Like hearing your vocals on the computer and being like, that's not me.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's definitely a trip. I feel like a lot of being a musician is just believing in yourself and trying it anyway. And like you said, so much is accessible now with technology that you don't need crazy technology to be doing these things. You can record in your bedroom, and it doesn't have to sound like a studio, and it can still, be a recording, and it still counts. I feel like another good thing that you mentioned too was making music for yourself and not with the intention of releasing it or like for someone. Do you feel like your music is for yourself when you write it?
Yeah, I do. And I was going to keep it just for myself as well. And then I just realized that I really want to play gigs, and I want to try to, kind of like, be a musician or whatever. And therefore I want to release it. So
you started more as like I'm going to write this for myself, but I actually want to play it. So how do I get to that step? I need to put it out.
Because it's just something that I've always liked to do. And then I realized, wow, I really want to like be on a stage too and be like a proper musician,
Yeah.
And then it's good to have something out on streaming services, and then it's kind of just took it from there.
Yeah, for sure. How do you feel like, I guess this new batch of songs that you're writing, do you feel like it's coming from the same person, the same place, like as writing to yourself? And do you feel like you're writing to a different version of yourself than in the last batch of music, or is it's silje, regardless of when?
I think that's a very good question. This release is kind of it's called, I don't know if it's too early to say because it's such a long time until I'm gonna drop this album, but it's gonna be called Time I'm in the palm of your hand. And it's kind of about how I feel like you have all these different versions of yourself, and as you kind of experience more, you've been so many different people in so many different situations. So it's kind of writing to myself and all the different roles you've had in life. So it's kind of written from different perspectives in different positions.
I'd love to hear some of those roles. Like,
well, for example, I released a single in January that's called "It's Almost Like You're Here," and it's a very like shoegazy, dream poppy song, and it's about feeling in a relationship that you're like the one who wants to take the next step, and the other person isn't quite there yet. So it's like, it's almost like you're here. Why can't you just step in?
Yeah.
And then my next single that will be out on Friday, actually, Friday the 14th, is kind of from the other perspective. So it's called As Fast As I Can.
I'm moving as fast as I can for you.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh.
Because I think most people, they've both been heartbroken, but they've also been the one to break someone's heart, So it's kind of just like, the whole album is like, sometimes you're the victim and sometimes you're not,
For sure. Yeah. It's like, I just got goosebumps thinking about that. Yeah. Sometimes you can be on both sides. I feel like most people are. And a lot of people like to write music from one side or the other, but being able to have that conversation with yourself is really unique. Exploring both ends of this like really emotional experience that most people have.
Yeah, because, sometimes you're good and sometimes you're not the best.
Not the best version of yourself. Happens all the time. Some people bring that out in others as well. Like, so certain people bring out certain types of personalities within yourself.
Exactly. And you can do something not that nice without being mean,
Right. Or without trying to do something mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that's so important to admit and to explore because there are ugly feelings that we don't typically like to dive into. Do you write from? A lot of people write from like a place of sadness, or what's kind of how are you talking to yourself in these songs?
Oh wow. I think I'm talking to myself from like a place of understanding. So a part of that process is probably like you were saying, that you kind of accept all sides of yourself, even the ones that aren't, the best. So that's probably it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I like that, of being able to admit and explore yourself in that way. All the nooks and crannies, not just the pretty ones. Yeah, I feel like it's not something that the dream pop genre likes to do much either. Not to say that all your music is to generalize it like that, but like
No, dream
it's
pop
so
is
much
good.
about like hope and love and yearning and dreaming and it's never like, hey, you little shit, come here, like let's talk about what we need to fix, you know. I want to explore more about like these different Celias that you're writing to and from in this next batch of music. What other places and emotions are you exploring in this album?
There's also this sense of choosing to do music, which means I have a song that's going to be in the next part of my album. It's called Falling Behind. And that's kind of about choosing to do like more of an uncertain career path, I guess, than most people, which means that you are like falling behind in life a little bit. Depends how you look at it. I guess we're told it's probably the same here in the US, but in Norway, like the correct way to do things, to go to school and study and get a house or whatever. So that's from that aspect, like how it feels to fall behind. And then I'm kind of like toying with the idea of what if I didn't do that? What if I just did, like what I feel like I should be doing, maybe like have the more straightforward line in life. That's like a different song as well.
Ah, okay. So you have both sides also.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a kind of just like toying with the idea of life, because the title track, Time, 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 I'm in the palm of your hand, it kind of means, well, exactly what the title says, that you kind of, you're told you have this time to live and to make choices and to do things. And sometimes it feels like you have an ocean of time, and sometimes it feels like you're running out and can't even make any decisions at all. So it's kind of that feeling like, I don't know, the future is now and the past is also now and the present is somewhere in between. I don't know.
Yeah, that's super. And just being, and the idea of holding in the palm of your hand all the different versions of yourself with so much love and understanding and care, and like caring for a fragile little egg or something. And I love that image of like surrendering yourself to time, the journey of time, how it's completely non-linear.
Yeah.
And you might think that, your 5-month, 5-year plan is going to happen.
Exactly.
And it never, you just have to surrender to the flow of time and also accept your mistakes as you go along, because there's no way to know if you're making a mistake or not, until it happens. So also being okay with living in the present with its mistakes. I feel like a lot of musicians also focus on the future or maybe the past.
Yeah.
And the present is a very uncomfortable place.
Yeah. No, but it really is.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you agree with this, because I feel like everyone, talks about don't reminisce too much or don't be anxious or worry about the future, but no one really talks about like don't freak out about where you are at this exact moment right now either.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Especially doing things like this, for example. Like, I've been looking forward to going to the US for such a long time. It's such a big thing for a Norwegian artist to get to play in the United States. And now we're here, And it's like, how can I make the most of it? And there are so many impressions, and it's difficult to just kind of like be in the moment. Which is something I'm still working on. Like, it's not the easiest.
Yeah.
To stay present.
Definitely not. I feel like being able to be present has to do so much with processing the past and the future too, and being self-aware, being able to forgive yourself, care for yourself, all things that keep you moving forward, right? When you play live, because that's it, I'd be curious to feel like, are you having this conversation with yourself on stage, or are you having it with the audience?
Oh, wow. Oh, I think more with the audience probably, especially because of the way that we've organized the live set now. We've chosen to have my most like upbeat or loudest songs, I guess, for a live set. So now it's more like about communicating with the audience than communicating with myself, which is very nice.
Right.
And it's been so much fun to play live. So I want to do loads more of that.
Yeah, it's the best performing. I feel like so much of the art of performing is how do we connect with the audience? Like, how do we make this show something that is entertaining, but also emotional and something that people can connect with? Like, what were some of the thoughts that were going through your head as you're translating your, like, very intimate bedroom music to a performance, besides, of course, playing the more upbeat stuff? What was your approach?
Well, ideally, when we have like the time and everything, I really like to have, we have these really nice visualizers that goes in the background of our show, and also just like to have a haze or some sort of smoke on screen really fits the vibe. And other than that, I think it's just very important to kind of show that you're enjoying yourself when you're playing, even though it is kind of sad songs and stuff like that. You should show that you'd like to be present, and it comes naturally to me either way. So it's a way that I like to perform. So that's good. So it's thought a lot about that, and I really hope like for most of my future shows we'll be able to also like bring a visual artist as well, because I think that can make a massive difference to have like good visualizers and stuff like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Live, I mean, I feel like visuals are way more important than people want to admit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
because
it is.
you're staring at the people, you're staring at a show as an audience member, so that includes at all aspects of it. And a lot of people forget that they're on stage sometimes, and they'll just like, especially in our shoegaze scene,
Exactly.
they just stand there and look down and don't look like they're enjoying themselves. And even with sad music, you can enjoy that feeling. You can enjoy the sadness. You can miss the sadness. You can, and there's something delicious about enjoying it as well.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think most people who choose to write music in this genre kind of things like that as well.
Yeah, right?
You have to like bathe in nostalgic feelings sometimes.
Yeah. It's delicious. It's comforting. It's like a womb or something.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. But it's really interesting when you have to translate that to like a performance side, because you want to entertain but also express these emotions and also have the moments for yourself, because ultimately it's for you too.
Yeah, that's true.
What is it about Norway that loves dream pop and shoegaze? Because some of the best is coming out of Norway right now. I think so.
Norwegians aren't really that hung up on the genre. Like I actually I was very luckily invited to do like a shoegaze. Like there was a program on NRK, which is like the biggest radio station in Norway, about what is shoegaze and what is dream pop, because people don't know. So so I think maybe it's like a good export music for Norway, but it's not that many. It's not that big of a scene in Norway, to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
It's just dreamy music. I feel like in a place that people are maybe more reserved, colder weather,
I think it makes sense.
More intimate, dreamy stuff. People are escaping.
And people spend a lot of time inside,
That too, yeah.
So.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's cool that you're kind of then at the forefront of this movement going on in Norway, where people are realizing, our dreamy music can translate into rock as well, and pop as well.
Yeah, I guess shoegaze is having its moment again, which is really nice.
True. Yeah. Around the world.
Around the world, and also in Norway.
Yeah, true. Well, this is very exciting. I mean, I'm really looking forward to hearing this new batch of songs, this new single that's coming out.
Thank you.
And you've been playing a couple of them out during your set, so we've gotten a sneak peek.
Yeah.
Are you going to be adding any of the newer ones too to your set, do you think?
I think so. Yeah. So that's very exciting. It's been a lot of fun to play unreleased songs. So it's like the balance, because I also want to like show. I released an album in August last year, so they're still fairly new. Yes. And I want to play them live as well. So we're kind of like balancing it up. But it's so much fun to play new stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps it fresh for sure.
Yeah, it's always the best.
It's very exciting. Well, thank you so much, Silje Inling, for joining me today here at Studio Bar at HowMuch Studios in Austin. And super excited for our showcase tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.